Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I'm your host, Jake Combs, and today we're going to be sharing our thoughts on the latest expansions for the G.I. Joe deck building game from Renegade Game Studios. Now, we actually had originally filmed an unboxing video, but unfortunately, due to computer issues, we actually lost all the recordings. So, unfortunately, we can't recapture that magic. So, we've decided to come back and do our review after we've now had a few runs with each of these to play and get our thoughts out. So we have the Silent Interlude expansion, which is based on probably my favorite G.I. Joe story arc. We have New Alliances, which is a crossover expansion with Transformers deck building game. And then we have Raise the Flag campaign expansion. So let's go ahead and look at New Alliances. Now, we do have the Autobot base card, which we have some spots to put some of our other cards as we go. Basically our round tracker. And then our various new cards, which gives us new Joe characters as well as new Decepticons and Autobots for the game. So this pack can actually be used with both the G.I. Joe deck building game and the Transformers deck building game, so whichever one you want to play. We did it with the G.I. Joe one because we actually prefer that one. Here we have the Teletran and Repair Bay, and then basically damaged versions of them as well. We have some really cool looking dice. And then our mission cards. Overall, I found this one to be fun, but honestly, even though in-universe G.I. Joe and Transformers do meet a few times in the original lore, really multiple times throughout the comic book versions of G.I. Joe, unfortunately, it just was too much Transformers and not enough G.I. Joe for me. The majority of the cards were meant for Transformers, and I understand why, because there's a lot more expansions, or at least total content available for G.I. Joe. But I think that would have done better if there was either more of an equal balance or if it leaned heavier on the side of G.I. Joe. But overall mechanics, it does work very well. But again, I just wish that it leaned more heavily towards the G.I. Joe side. Silent Interlude, like I said, is based on my favorite story arc. And there's actually a couple different Joe heroes in here. Now, the original story arc featured basically only, as far as characters, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and I believe Destro was there as well. And we do have those cards. Scarlet's there, Lieutenant Falcon, which I know he definitely wasn't there. Chuckles definitely wasn't there. Now, I know they revisited the location of it and did an homage to the original storyline in the comics. I don't remember if these characters were there or not. I feel like Chuckles was, but I don't remember about the rest. And then, of course, we have Destro, Dr. Mindbender. So I believe that this is more in line with that second version of the story arc. But now, one thing that I wish it did come with that is available, I believe it's only like $10 to get, is actually a dice tower based after that tower right there. And unfortunately, the G.I. Joe game, for the most part, doesn't really use dice. And so it's more for other things. Maybe if you're using the other. Now, the Raise the Flag, what's interesting about this one is it does actually have a cardboard version of the flag itself that you can build and basically kind of interact with during games. And we've actually built it out. Now, my complaint here is that with as big of a box as this is, the Flagg does not fit. In fact, we left it built together, and there's no way to turn it and have it fit. It just is physically too large. So every time you play this expansion and want to use it, you are going to have to disassemble it every time. But the overall look and added ambiance to the game definitely is pretty cool. I really like that part of it. Now, one thing I really like that they did with this that they haven't done with any of the others previously is that all of your missions are top secret. So we have 6 sets of top secret missions, and you can only basically get to the next one as you defeat them. And you do have some of the classics: Shipwreck, Poly, Keelhaul, and Wetsuit. And he was always one that was always around the Flagg when they were doing missions from it. And then this one is actually probably my favorite looking card, because I do remember when they actually did this in the comics. I believe they did it in the cartoon as well, and it's absolutely hilarious seeing Snake Eyes in full costume with a dress, a coat, and a wig on, and basically having people treat him like he's a woman and walking around, I believe, a carnival. And then surprisingly, that's actually it for the normal cards that aren't part of the missions. So I kind of actually expected a little bit more there. Now, with the ship, it is a little flimsy when it comes to the top part of the boat. Don't know what that part's called. Now, with each one of these pieces, there is different versions of them. You got both sides, and then they also rotate depending on the effect that's going on with that. So a lot of different options there, kind of expand on the play, and then having these in place also gives you different abilities or effects while you're playing. So it's a really cool feature. I think that they did a really great job as far as the concept behind it and the actual rules for this expansion. Again, my only real complaint about it is just that it doesn't fit in the damn box. If they could have found a way to either make the box bigger so it would fit, or condense this down so that way you're able to actually put it in the box fully assembled, so that way you can just take it out without having to reassemble it each time, I think that definitely would have been the way to go. But even with that being the case, assembly is actually really easy. I mean, this piece right here, I mean, it literally is just one piece that folds in on itself. And then the actual main ship itself is just 3 pieces that also fold in on themselves. And one thing that they did really well is, you'll notice like right here, it says like 2B, and then it shows you right here exactly where it connects. So that way, if there's ever any doubt if you're doing it right, you just literally got to match 2B to 2B, slide it in, and away you go. So the ease of assembly is definitely really good. So it as you can see, it constructs and deconstructs very easily. I just wish that it was either a little bit smaller or the box was a little bit bigger, so that it would just fit in the box fully assembled, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. And because in my experience with cardboard structures like this, the more you assemble and disassemble, the more those pieces are going to get damaged and warped, and over time, the less that they're going to actually be able to come together for you and do what they're actually intended to do. But then everything just sits on top. And then seals up nicely once you're done. So overall, great expansions. Silent Interlude definitely was my favorite of the 3, but that's also because I'm a little bit biased, because it is also my favorite storyline, at least the original version. And I do need to go back and reread the revisit to that same castle, um, just to kind of refamiliarize myself with it. But overall, had a lot of fun with these. Probably the best expansions that they've done for GI Joe deck building game since its release. At the very least, these two. Like I said, New Alliances is really more for the Transformers game as far as bringing more cards for that. But it definitely does work either way. It's just, again, too much emphasis on the Transformers, not enough GI Joe for me. Um, but that being said, I do also play the Transformers game, and mostly when I do that one by itself, I do prefer it to be just strictly Transformers. So I don't see this one getting much use, where the other two I'll definitely revisit for sure. But that's it for today. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and I'll catch you next time.